Hello and welcome to another episode of Jaxon Talks Everybody with me, your host, Jaxon Stone, but my name's Aaron Matchmitz, but Jaxon Stone was my professional wrestling name for a long time, and that's what this podcast is named after, so we're going with that. And this is episode 106, of Jaxon Talks Everybody, and I have a very special guest.
Hello.
Very special guest. Welcome to the show, Aaron Mercer.
Hello, I am Aaron Mercer, otherwise known as James Stindebach, if you want to throw our real names out there.
Yeah, I want to call you James.
Okay. Hi, I'm James.
But also Aaron works for me too, because that's my name.
Yeah. It's funny because your roommate's initial is J, and I'm J, and you're kind of J, but you're also Aaron, and I'm Aaron. I don't know what that means. But
there's a lot going on here. It's when I was doing a lot of Jaxon Stone merch, Joel, my roommate, his name's Joel Sands. Oh yeah, can't wait to clip that in also.
Joel, I need to do that entrance soon.
Joel would get like all the merch that didn't like come out well, and I gave him a couple hats that had like my JS logo on there, and he wore it over to his parents' house, and his mom was like, "Why did you make a hat with your initials on the front?"
I was about to ask if his last name was S.
Yeah, Joel Sands.
It's mine too. Jaxon Stone. Jesus, that's weird.
So I can't wait to give you some JS stuff. People are like, what's going on here?
It's on my Instagram. If y'all didn't know, that's my name. So here we go.
But anyways,
yeah,
you've had quite a bit of a interesting last few weeks, maybe a month or so.
Sure.
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Definitely get into that. But I have a very important question to ask you. As I showed you on my notes.
Yeah, your extensive list.
I have a huge list of questions, and it's the list is one question. And if you're a regular listener to the show, you know what it's going to be. And I already showed you the question, so you know what it's going to be. So, James.
Aaron.
With everything that you have going on.
Yeah.
Everything that you will have coming up.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Like, for real.
That's such a loaded question.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm doing better than recent times, I guess. Because, I got a new sweet job. I can fly to see my child anytime I want. I'm not going to say the other reason I took the job because I don't want, people knowing. But
that's fair.
Yeah, I can pretty much see the country, see the world, which is cool. Pays decent. My child is now 20-something hours away, but it was either move to Georgia or get this job and be able to fly over there pretty much anytime. So that's cool. Don't currently have a place as of, what's today? July 13th, 2020. We're still searching. Dallas is rough. Dallas is nice. Yeah. It's nicer than San Antonio, in my opinion, because there's trees and grass and wind sometimes. And San Antonio is just pure concrete, but Dallas is expensive. And it's hard to find somewhere to live. But to answer your question, as of right now, I am fairly content with how things are going. If that answers your question.
Yeah, slightly. I'll ask some follow-up questions.
I'm sure you will.
But yeah, this couch right here is a very important couch.
It is.
For one, it's my podcasting couch.
Yes.
Two, it's where you've been sleeping.
For the past couple weeks, which I greatly appreciate.
Sure.
Not for them, but seriously.
No, anytime. Really. You stayed here a bunch before, but only for passing when you had wrestling stuff. And then you stayed here for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't see you that much.
I told you I didn't want to be a burden.
Well, you're busy with jobs.
Yeah.
Jobs. Yeah. And I think you just kind of stayed away for long periods of time because you didn't want to bother me.
That was partly, but a lot of times it would either be I would go home to my dad's and chill with him, or I'd be out all day door dashing.
Yeah,
because I've only gotten one paycheck so far. So
from your new gig.
Yeah. So
wow,
gotta eat and pay for gas. It
was good to see you.
Yeah.
For the few weeks that you're here.
Yeah, for the total of 20 minutes maybe.
Yeah. We had some good conversations in passing, which I'll touch on, but
I don't remember. You're gonna have to. My brain is fried right now.
I got you.
Busy on TikTok all day.
But yeah, very productive work day for you.
100%.
But you were living in San Antonio, like you said, and were you always looking for some job like this to move to Dallas, or this kind of just happened?
It just happened. Honestly, I kind of screwed myself. I had a really good job working with a car dealership or whatever for multiple years, but because they had me working like 6 days a week, wrestling was hard. And so since like, I don't want to say blowing up, but like I started taking more bookings, it was getting harder and harder, especially with the deathmatch stuff. I did my first deathmatch and I had to go to work the next night. I tried to call in and they were like, we don't have anybody. And I was like, okay. So I went in with 3 shirts on and I started bleeding out through my shirt. Like I went like this and it was just covered in blood. So I was like, hey, I need to leave. I had an accident last night. That's all I said. And so I just left. And so I was like, if I'm going to start doing stuff like this, I can't do this job anymore.
Right.
So I left. I was fairly unhappy with that job too, just because it was so draining. And I pretty much just was door dashing, donating plasma. And that's how I paid my bills. And so I was just focused on wrestling, you know, which was cool. But I wasn't looking for really any job. I was just trying to wrestle as much as possible. And luckily, I make it fairly public, the situation I have with my child. Like, it's not some secret or whatever. So once I announced that he was moving farther away, I posted something, and I don't know, it might have not been very favorable towards myself. I'm a very self-deprecating person. And somebody saw that and was like, hey, you just need a break, basically. So they got me in with that job, and they were like, it could really help your wrestling, but also you can go see your son whenever you want. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. I was going to move to Georgia, but this is cool. It's a great job, has stability. I won't get stuck in the same position for 30 years, banging my head against the desk. So I mean, it kind of just worked out. Right time, right place, right person helped me out. And here we are.
Do you feel like you deserve something like this?
No.
Why not?
Because
what?
I knew we were going to get here. I don't know.
But like, why not you?
So, I am very, very self-aware. I am aware of my flaws and what's the opposite of flaws?
Your positive traits?
Good things or whatever. But I don't know, you can't help how you feel sometimes, so I don't think particularly highly of myself, and I don't know, I don't think I deserve anything really. Not saying like I the other way bad or anything, but just I don't know, it seems kind of too good to be true. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course it makes sense. Yes.
Yeah.
So then you can kind of frame it in a different way if deserve is not the right word.
Well, I definitely didn't earn it. All I did was post a status and somebody saw it and was like, hey.
Well, in the moment it can feel like you didn't earn it, right?
Yeah.
But in life I think there's a lot of actions that we take that can lead us to having a break that we get. Maybe it wasn't one specific thing, right? But it could have been a series of events, right?
Yeah.
You having love for your kid and wanting to see him, right? That energy gets put out into the universe.
Right.
If you believe that or not, it does. And then you working hard at the thing you want to do, wrestle, before basketball, whatever. And then just trying to be the best person you can be potentially leads you into getting something that is worthwhile and can make you a little bit more successful in your life.
Yeah.
So I think that's true.
I'm definitely like a firm believer of, I don't know if like everything happens for a reason, but I can specifically go back to like certain points in my life and I was like, I would not be here without that happening. And like this led to this, led to this, led to this. And so I'm again, aware that I'm here in this position because of certain things that led to it. And it is like, I could be a deadbeat dad and not care.
Right.
And I would, I don't know what I would be doing.
That I don't think that person would have offered you this opportunity.
100%. So yeah, I believe like whatever I did to get here had to happen, but like I don't know, just my own opinion. I didn't do anything to deserve, earn, whatever. I didn't like outwardly, try to get here. It just kind of
like apply for the job and go after it and do a bunch of interviews and all this stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I did the interviews and stuff, but after,
yes.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, but yeah, that makes sense. The everything happens for a reason thing is an interesting one. Because
that's why I framed it like, I don't think everything happened, but certain things
do line you up in a certain way. Like, I wouldn't be speaking about the stuff that I talk about or doing anything that I'm doing. I wouldn't have stopped wrestling if the worst thing in my life hadn't happened. And I don't know if I consider that a reason. I just consider that something that I dealt with in a way that wasn't the worst possible way to deal with it.
Right.
Not saying I'm dealing with it in a great way. Like, there could be a better way, but this is the best way I know how to deal with it.
Right.
Is by talking about it, being vocal about it, like living my life around it. And so people like to use that statement in kind of the worst possible times. Like, because I remember when my sister died, like people said that to me like 2 or 3 days after.
Everything happens for a reason.
Like, maybe it does, but
that's the worst thing you
can say. I'm literally in the middle of the worst thing ever. Yeah. And so maybe just like, this is all I need right now. Like, no words, just like not even saying it's going to be all right, because who the fuck knows if it's going to be all right?
Nobody knows.
But now, almost 4 years removed, September will be 4 years since my sister passed away, and I'm finally I'm seeing some, I feel a bit of gratitude towards the situation, because I absolutely love what I'm doing and able to do, and maybe there's the reason, but I wouldn't have never known that if I didn't like try to put in the work. And so I think that term is used with the right intention, but sometimes people overuse it because it's like this is standard phrase that people use. And so I think we need to be careful about that.
It's just like a go-to to cheer somebody up, basically. And it's, it's not always the thing that needs to be said.
Right. So, especially when you get some other, especially when we talk about some other really like traumatic events that happen in people's lives, right? You're kind of placing the blame on them when really it probably wasn't their fault at all. And so, but then it's on you, right? It's your responsibility then to take what had happened to you, accept it as is, and try to move forward with it and figure out the best way to be the best version of yourself. At least that's what I think.
And in my opinion, I think you have absolutely made the best of that situation, because like you help people for like, it's what you do, and that's an amazing thing and cause. And I don't know, like I feel like that's the best thing that could have happened from that. You know what I'm saying?
I think so. Thanks for saying that.
Of course.
Thank you.
I didn't want to like phrase that like improperly.
No, you did a great job.
Thanks. I'm terrible with words.
I don't know about that.
Sure.
Do you like cutting promos?
I hate talking into a phone or a camera. I love doing live in the ring stuff. Love, probably not, because I hate public speaking. I hate talking in general, really.
Is that just like your personality type, or?
So it's weird. I remember growing up and like even in high school, all I did was talk. That's why I would get in trouble a lot, is just because I talked a lot. And I mean, obviously not in like speech or communications class. I hated that. Public speaking, for everybody. Great profession I chose.
Yeah, for those that listen to this podcast and aren't familiar with professional wrestling, Aaron Mercer, independent professional wrestler extraordinaire.
Yeah. Where was I going? So yeah, I didn't. No, I used to talk like a lot, but I think, and again, I can pinpoint this, but like after I came home from my freshman year of college and I blew my knee out the first time, this one, I took like a year and a half off from school and stuff, and I was very like secluded, I guess. I didn't leave my room much. I went to play basketball and stuff on a torn ACL, which was, stupid, but do what you love, right? And I think it like in that moment, that period of time, I just became very introverted, and ever since then, that's just kind of how I've been. I think wrestling has definitely helped, as with a lot of people, bring out something, and especially when I'm in front of crowds and stuff like that, I feel like I'm very extroverted. Even on like meet and greets and stuff, because I feel like I'm playing a character even though I'm just myself.
Yeah, you're not really.
No, not at all. But it's weird. It feels different, but it's not. I feel like I have to be outgoing and nice and stuff, which I think I'm naturally, but I don't. And this answer makes it seem like I love talking, but
you are on a podcast, so I think you're giving it your best effort here.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I just don't particularly love talking. So promos are just like, I'd just rather fight,
Yeah.
Sure.
But if they're in the ring, you feel like like you're doing, or you feel like there's more energy behind it, or you feel like because the crowd is feeding off of you.
Adrenaline or something. Yeah. I don't know. Like I have, spoiler, I have a few coming up. There's going to be like a post-match one, and a couple more that are going to be in the ring. I think they're going to be fire. Like, I already know what I'm going to say and stuff, which is probably bad, because I'll probably fumble over my words and be like, oh, what was I going to say or whatever. But I don't know. I think they're going to be good, and I think I'm getting better at them just because I'm being my goofy, idiotic self. I'm not being like serious tough guy, even though I bleed in class and gussets and all that. Like, that speaks for itself. I don't have to be here like, Everett Connors. So I don't know. I think I'm just an idiot, and it gets over and pops myself, makes me laugh. So I like them more than I used to, but what a long-winded answer.
I like them. I like them only because I was portraying a character that was not even close to myself.
You're talking about the first one, right?
When I was in the thick of it.
Yeah.
When I was really like, when wrestling was my full-time job, and I was
Hollywood, right?
And I was traveling the world, right? I was lights, camera, Jaxon. Everything I posted on social media was curated. Every word I said was manufactured. Nothing was real. Everything was pretend. And that's what I thought professional wrestling was, because I knew WWE. I knew larger-than-life characters. That's mostly how we all get into it. And then that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in WWE. And so that's the character I presented. That changed, right? When everything else changed, that changed.
Yeah.
And when I wrestled a little bit over the past couple years, I was the same way you were. I was just myself.
Yeah.
My name just happened to be Jaxon Stone, but everyone knew what I was doing. The stuff I was posting on social media was very real, raw, and personal. And then the promos became different because I still needed to portray someone who could do something in the ring. While also talking about things that were vulnerable and real. So that was a bit tricky. When I was lights, camera, Jaxon, it was easy. I knew my intro, I knew my outro. I just had to fill some meat in the middle.
Right.
So, but I always like talking. Probably why I have a podcast.
That's a theory.
Probably why I have two podcasts.
Yeah.
But yeah, because when I first met you, you were pretty much portraying an MMA character.
Was that at the warehouse?
That was when they were doing those Thursday shows. Yeah.
What a time. That was shortly after I branched from my tag partner and school and started to do my own thing. So I was like, I've done a bit of MMA. Let me just be tough MMA guy. It's easy to do. That's what I was doing at the time. And I didn't cut promos. I cut promos with facial expressions.
Right.
I didn't talk.
Yeah, you've always had good facial expressions.
Thanks. I get that a lot.
I think that's one of the most important things.
Sam Stackhouse said I will make thousands of dollars with this.
He just said thousands.
Thousands.
Not millions.
No.
All right. Thanks, Sam Stackhouse. And then you transitioned into kind of this person that you are now. Was there a plan behind that? What was your process there?
13 months of injury and just coming back and throwing myself into it and just being myself. I don't know. I didn't have a plan for when I came back. I was just like, I'm gonna give everything I have and destroy my body in the process and just pop myself. Because if you're not popping yourself, what are you doing, right?
Well, yeah, in non-wrestling lingo, that basically means if you're not having fun, what's the point?
Yep.
And that's true.
Right.
Right? We get so caught up in wrestling because we want to make it. Mm-hmm. And you have to take it seriously to make it. People ask me all the time, Jaxon, how did you get to all those places so quickly in your career? I was like, I sat down for 2 or 3 hours every day, and I emailed and messaged every single person I could possibly think of. And then I did it the next day, and the next day, and the next day. These people were getting messages and emails from me every single day of the week until they were like, yes, you can come to my show.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And if they didn't respond, I went to the show, whether it was in Texas or not. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, here I am. Yeah. This is me. I have a character. You want to see some promos? I'm 6'2". I look good. Here's my gear. What do you want to see? You want me to do a match in front of nobody? Let's roll. And then it worked. Yeah. And people are like, oh my God, you've only been in your 2 year what? I'm like, I don't know. This is what I did for baseball. That's how I got to school. Mm-hmm. It's what me and my mom did to get me a scholarship. I approached it like an athlete, and it's the same way I did it. No. Eventually, it was kind of like I had enough, and I stopped doing that because I had regular bookings. Mm-hmm. But if I wanted to reach any more heights, I needed to keep doing that.
Right.
But that was just my way of doing it.
And that worked for you.
And it worked for me. Yeah. And it's not for everyone because it takes a lot of time and effort. Mm-hmm. I also was working as a personal trainer, so my schedule was a little flexible, so I could sit down and do that. If I was working a 9 to 5 or had kids or had other priorities, it would have been harder.
Right.
And I take that into consideration when I'm talking to someone, just to make sure the information can be beneficial to them and their situation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I have no point to that. I just thought I'd say it.
No, yeah, I enjoyed it.
But yeah, so then you kind of became this.
Yeah.
And you're having fun.
I'm having the most fun in probably my life.
Really?
Honestly. Yeah. I don't know. It's a blast. Like, I'm not pretending to be anything else. Like, I'm just me, and people oddly are into that. Mm-hmm. I don't get it, but
you got a lot of charm to you.
Sure.
I think you do.
Thanks. I think that's maybe part of it is just I'm myself, and I put myself out there. Like, I talk about, having a child and all
real
these real things. Yeah. So I think people are drawn to that. That's just a theory. I don't know if that's actually true, but yeah, man, like, I'm killing my body, which is fun because as an athlete, I always like being sore. So I enjoy doing things to make my body sore. And, it's part acting, and I always kind of had a little bit of a dream to act. Like, I was like, I want to be a wrestler and get signed and then go to Hollywood.
Yeah.
It just seems fun playing characters, But yeah, the people that you get to meet at shows, and they're like, this is my first show, this is my friend's first show, and you made it for them. Like, that's a cool feeling. And little kids coming up to you and be like, can you sign this? Can you take a picture? Like as a father, that's cool,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm having a blast.
What?
I don't know.
Oh, I always take pauses. I like to digest what you just said.
Yeah.
It's actually incomprehensible how many downstream effects we have of positively impacting people at wrestling shows.
What do you mean?
Like, not everyone that you wrestle in front of is going to tell you how much they liked it.
Right.
The few people will come up to you and be like, yo, that was sick, thank you. You made me fall in love with wrestling again, or I was having a hella bad day and this made my night.
I think I know where you're going.
Only a few people are going to actually come up and tell you that.
Yeah.
But the however many else were at the show, the other 30, 200, 1,000 people that were at the show may have felt the exact same way. And we have no idea how that's positively affecting the rest of their day. Like, they could have went home and told their kid about it because maybe he didn't want to come, he wasn't feeling it. But then he showed them some pictures and like, holy shit, that's so cool. Maybe I could do that.
Yeah.
Like we don't know those conversations. And I think about that a lot with the stuff that I do now. Like, how many people is this really affecting? Like, maybe a couple people will tell me that they enjoy the pod. Sick. That makes my fucking day. I love it.
Yeah.
But how many people are they telling?
Right.
Or how many things that they heard on this pod are resonating with them? It's the same thing at a wrestling show. And I think that stuff is quite cool because it's like the positivity resonance that's like bleeding out through a bunch of people.
And you never know, like, it could literally be one person that it changes like the course of their life just because they took one little clip from your podcast or one little moment from a wrestling show or a TV show or whatever, and they're like, that saved my life, or that changed my life, or it changed how I view something, and like you had something to do with that. And that's a cool feeling,
right?
So, and
sometimes you never know, and you will never know.
Yeah. But that's cool too. Like,
that's so cool that
even the possibility that possibility is there. That's a cool feeling.
That's why I tell everyone that they matter, because you do.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea how many things you do that positively impact people that you'll never know about. So that's why you matter. That's why you matter so much.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
I had a thought, but then that thought preceded it because it was better.
That one was better?
Yeah, that one was better.
Of course.
No, like with wrestling, like you nailed it. Like every single person who watches wrestling or is in wrestling has at least one story where wrestling saved their life. And that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Like, not just like made their day better. That happens all the time when we have wrestling. But like literally saved them from doing something. It did for me. Right? It did for me. I've told this story before, but I was home for the month after my sister passed away, and the end of the month was my debut with Beyond against Wheeler Yuta. And I wouldn't have made it through that month if I didn't have that match to look forward to. Because I love Wheeler Yuta. He's one of my closest friends. He got me on that show, and I've wanted to work for Beyond for the start of my career. And that whole month, I was like, okay, I got something to look forward to. Keep moving. And it was there. And then we both cried after the end of the match, whatever. But it was a beautiful moment. That saved my life. That's not an exaggeration. And I'm sure you have the same story, and wrestling fans who are watching this have a similar story. And that's the beauty of it all.
I was going to say something, but we won't go there.
Why? Okay. You don't want to?
No, it's okay.
Next time.
I mean, we can.
It's up to you, man.
I might cry.
Let's let it out.
So I don't know how touched you are about your sister and that subject, I guess. So I, up until like 3 years ago, had never had thoughts like that. And wrongly thinking, I never understood how people could have thoughts like that. It just didn't make sense to me. Then I blew out this knee. And
so first your right knee, and then your left.
Basketball, wrestling.
Okay. Is this the one against Jerome?
Yeah.
Okay. I was there for that.
And then I got carried out and had to walk through glass. Didn't hurt, but I cried in the back because I was like, I gotta go through this again. Anyways, so yeah, I blew that one out. And I knew that my son was moving to Colorado in the matter of months, I think. So I was like, I'm not going to be able to see my kid after having him every single weekend, because we had been separated for like 2 years at that point. But I had him every weekend.
He was living in San Antonio?
Yeah. We both were at the time. Anyways. So I was like, that sucks. I'm never going to see him. And now I can't wrestle for who knows how long. I'm poor. I can't get surgery. Lost my job. Couldn't feed myself. Couldn't take care of myself. So how could I take care of my kid? I couldn't see my kid for like a month because I couldn't walk. And I was like, thoughts start to creep in. And that was the first time I ever dealt with depression. And it was, a new feeling. And so I did have thoughts. I didn't try anything because I was like, I have this, I think it was 3 at the time, this 3-year-old little child. Like, if I were to do this, he would grow up without a dad. And I couldn't do that, you know? So, yeah, like that was, I don't know, a super hard time. And even now, like still today, 3 years later, like sometimes I'll go through like little peaks and valleys, you know? Mm-hmm. Nothing ever as bad as that, just because like, I don't know, I've kind of been through it now, so I'm like, I know how to handle this. And with the brilliance of technology, I can literally just call him up right now and be like, hey dude, what's up, you know? But as far as like, you know, wrestling or music or, you know, sports saving people's life, like my child saved my life. Mm-hmm. You know, just his existence, like, yeah, magical thing.
That's the power of love.
It's a good song. Yeah.
Is that why
I tried really hard not to cry?
That was beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
I get smiley when I get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Is that why you said at the start when I asked you that question, how are you, that you said you're doing better than you have been?
Yeah.
So it's from that situation?
Yeah. That was, like I don't even think I ever dealt with like anxiety or anything really. Definitely not depression, but yeah, ever since then, like I completely understand. There are definitely situations you can be in where, you know, thoughts creep in and like, do you think that's the only way out? And, mm-hmm. you know, but yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that.
Well, it's extremely complicated, right?
Yeah.
And mental health has a lot to do with environment, with circumstances.
Let me pause you real quick. Do you remember the series you were doing where somebody would basically tell their story? Mm-hmm. You started that, I want to say, very soon after I did that. It was like a couple months after. And I watched some of those. And like, so some of those stories kind of helped me. Mm-hmm. And, you know, by default, you helped me because you presented that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I'm not going to say their names, but there was a couple that like specifically, I was like, damn.
Yeah. Those are powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of stopped doing them.
I noticed, but still,
I just do it on here instead.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like the big part of me starting You Are Loved, was like trying to share these stories so that people who felt this way and thought they were the only ones feeling this way could feel less alone. Mm-hmm. And it was powerful for me.
I'm sure.
Listening to people, having them agree to do it, like them trying to be part of this project that I had no idea where it was going or what it could be.
I thought about like message you and be like, hey, can I, you know, tell a story or whatever, but there was no way I was ready at the time. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Now we're here.
3
years later.
Time flies.
At my house.
Yeah.
On this couch.
On my bed.
On your bed. Yeah. It's like everyone has mental health, right? Because how I define it is how you think, feel, and act. So it's a part of your everyday. Mm-hmm. But then there are certain conditions, circumstances, environments that it can exacerbate the way you feel to a level that you've never felt before, and you're not sure how to respond to it. That's why when it happens to people that are young, it feels like the end of the world, because they don't have the experience to fall back on to know that they can get through this. So then they make that ultimate decision, which they feel like is the only way through it, when obviously it's not. There's other ways to deal with how we're feeling. But that's why we have to teach young people those tools. So when we get put in situations like you got put in, we like have something to fall back on. Like, okay, I learned this and this. This tool can be utilized. I can call this friend, their story shared on social media. Okay, I know I'm not alone. Okay, I know that I matter because I have a kid and he means something to me, and all this stuff. You kind of start to think about it if you can kind of just take a moment to breathe and be like, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's what I can do. Here's what I may need. How do I get there?
And I think that's part of the reason why I'm so open about my life on social media, even as wrestler character.
Right.
is because, like, you see guys like, for those who don't watch wrestling might not know, but like Eddie Kingston is a super tough dude, but he's on Twitter talking about anxiety and mental illness and stuff. And I'm like, if a badass dude like that can openly talk about his problems, like, who am I? Like, I could easily be like, oh, I miss my kid, you know, hoping, not even hoping, but like, somebody could see that and be like, oh, I miss my kid too, you know, and I know it gets better and stuff like that. I've had another wrestler message me and be like, I have to drive a couple of hours to see my kid, but you have to, you know, do like 20 hours. Like, I'll never complain about that again. I was like, that's cool. Like, I helped you with perspective, basically, you know, just being open about it. And I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
Beautiful.
Sure.
Eddie Kingston is a fantastic person and role model.
I've met him like once or twice, and he's amazing. Yeah,
I've never had a conversation with him, but I follow him on social, and it's so real, it's so raw, it's so passionate, and he's being himself, and also has the ability to go out in the ring and perform on a very high level, but then talk about these things that he's dealing with. It's the same way now that like Olympians and professional athletes are talking about this stuff. Like, I can become an elite performer, but I'm still dealing with this stuff. It doesn't exonerate me because I've reached a certain level. Like, everyone has to go through this stuff. And the way we deal with it is by talking about it, sharing our stories, expressing how we feel, and learning different tools and mechanisms to make sure that we can show up as the best version of ourselves. And so in professional wrestling, it's very interesting because the identity crisis is real for a lot of people. Yeah. Because the way they perform in the ring as someone or something could be different than how they see themselves in real life, but they're spending the majority of their time as that authentic person. And so we have to come to terms with that authentic person and be okay with taking out the trash when our wife says it's okay, and not yelling at her saying that I'm a fucking world champion, I don't have to do that. No, dude.
I'm the man, baby.
Like, that's your job. Yeah. Okay? When you come home from your job, you discovered who you are, but you have to first do that work to discover who you are, and then you can portray that as a character completely different, but you have to know the separation. You have to know when to be this and to be that, or you can be an extension of yourself, like Eddie Kingston, like yourself, which, you know, works whatever way you want to work it, but
man, I would love for a woman to yell at me to take out the trash. Been single for 5 years. Good God. What are we doing?
I don't know.
Living life, I guess.
Living life. Yeah. It'll happen just like the job.
Sure. We'll see.
And you got a lot on your plate right now, so.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. Had that conversation recently.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, you want to go there too? Talk about love life?
Sure.
Yeah.
But, well, I'll pause it there. We'll go somewhere else. We have to talk about the most obvious thing, though.
My sweet locks?
No.
I need to get a tan?
No. If you're watching via YouTube, you can see these pajamas. Little did you know that this is professional wrestling gear.
Sometimes, yeah. In hardcore matches or death matches where I'm just like, oh, I'm going to be a goof today. Yeah.
So question one, when did you fall in love with death matches? And how are they different than a regular match? And why did you want to wear pajamas?
When did I fall in love with deathmatch?
Or when did you decide that you were going to do them often? Maybe you don't love them.
Oh, I definitely love them now.
Yeah?
But I'm not pigeonholing myself. I don't want to be, just a deathmatch wrestler. For any bookers watching.
There'll be a few.
Man, I don't know. So whenever I came back from injury, I kind of just had like a death wish. My second match back was against Shire, and I had
that guy's a beast.
He's amazing.
He's a beast.
I had him UFO me onto a guardrail.
That's his big move, right?
It's one of them.
Yeah.
The guardrail was flat on the ground with concrete under it. And so I was like...
the UFO is the guy on your shoulders?
Yeah, and he just spins and throws you.
And launches you
and
out.
You land. And I land on this metal guardrail that is right on top of concrete.
Tell
on
me
my
first.
back.
On your back. Back first.
Yep.
On the garbage.
That was my second match back from 13 months out with a destroyed knee.
Sheesh.
So I had a death wish coming back. And then ICW was wanting to come down to San Antonio, and Dunbar wanted them to use me and Ruben and Scotty. And so the promoter of ICW was like, send me some tape on Mercer and Scotty. And I had no death matches, no hardcore matches under my belt. Scotty had a few. And so Dunbar was like, we need to start getting you some footage. And I was like, me and Ruben in a death match next week. And he was like, okay, but we can't use glass and because of the cleanup. And I was like, well, we'll go bare boards. So we had a bare boards death match, and it was crazy and amazing, and I loved it.
It was exhilarating?
Oh, dude. I almost threw up in it.
Like more than a regular match?
Yeah. Your adrenaline is like through the roof compared to a regular match. And I don't know, yeah, like I did that one, and then a couple months later, they came down, and I had another one, and then I had one with Atticus, and he just buried me in like 30 tubes. Just sat there. Bah, 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 bah.
He's a talented performer.
He's amazing. He's really cool dude. Sorry to kill your thing, but yeah, he was just like burying me in glass, and I was just like sitting there taking them, and I was just like, this is so cool.
That's what you were thinking about?
Yes. There are moments in matches where I'll take like a huge something, and I will verbally out loud to myself be like, this is so much fun.
Wow.
It's weird. Brian Keith gave me a tiger driver off the apron onto the floor with, minimal padding.
Yeah, very minimal.
And I hit, and I was just like, this is awesome. What's wrong with me, right?
Wow. You're so present in the moment. That's so cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it just kind of started happening, and I don't know, I fell in love with it. But as far as how it's different, honestly, the way I approach it is it's not different. I still do the same.
Like in terms of planning it?
You still put psychology behind it.
The formula is a bit the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you still do your stuff. It's just now there's weapons involved. There's more danger. But at the same time, it means more. So the crowd can invest more. So it's really not that different.
You're still building up to certain spots.
Yeah.
Just the spots are a bit wilder because you have a little extra toys to play with.
Still telling a story. It's no different.
Wow.
Yeah. Now some people just go out there and like weapon, and that's shitty. My first thing getting into deathmatch wrestling was like, I don't want to offend dudes that do this all the time. I want to respect it as much as possible. Sure. And I feel like I've done that. Hopefully. I don't know. I haven't had anybody shit on me, so sorry if I'm cussing too much.
No, we can cuss.
I don't remember your third question.
I'll get back to it in a second. Yeah, I don't have very much experience with hardcore stuff.
You did a couple on your...
I've done like maybe 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. The first one I did was like this tornado tag team hardcore match against Thatcher and Walter.
You don't even need weapons with them.
Yeah. Walter just powerbombed me through 2 chairs, and that was the end of my night.
That's amazing.
And then the other one, I remember one with Wesley Crane, which he's amazing at it. So that was like, that was cool because I just let him take the lead.
Right.
And he knows what he's doing. And then one, I think, was like a multi-man match. That's where I got someone cracked me in the head with a chair, and I started bleeding everywhere.
Nice.
And that was about it for me.
Yeah.
I always said that I would do it if it built up to a story and it made sense. Like I would do that. I just don't think So I had a couple of those, but I don't consider those like death matches. They're just like the culmination of storytelling in a more intense setting. Yeah. But I always said if John Cena did it on TV that I would do it in real life. But he went through glass, and I may be wrong about. I don't know if I would do that.
Did he?
He went through like a car. The Shield.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That guy gets after it a bit on those hardcore matches, man. Some of those ones with JBL.
Oh, they poured buckets.
There's so much blood, dude.
Yeah.
Like he's a beast.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And then my third question in that span of questions that I asked you was about these pajamas.
Oh yeah, I was trying to avoid it. Man, I don't know. In the whole just being myself, I'm very relaxed and nonchalant, and I show up to shows in pajamas sometimes. And one day at a show, I was just like, I don't feel like wearing gear. I'm gonna wear pajamas. And they were like, okay. I went out there, wrestled in pajamas. People loved it, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this a thing now.
Like with your knee pads and shooters or what?
So the first time I wore them under.
Yeah.
There's been a couple times where I just wear these and nothing else. Sometimes I'll wear under if I'm gonna throw like kicks or something. Thank God I wore them in that first one because Wesley came in. He was supposed to duck a roundhouse and he came in like this, and I kicked him straight in the face. And if I didn't have my kick pads on,
that would have.
I'm sure it hurt, but because I came with a little bit of force.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a little padding in kick pads.
A little.
Hence the pad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. I like being comfortable. I used to wear slides in high school all the time. And a teacher was like, you just like being comfortable, huh? And I was like, yeah, why not?
That's the basketball player in you.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
basketball shorts and slides with socks.
And socks, of course. Yeah. Yes, of course.
I still do that.
That's a great look.
Yeah.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
That's what I wear to jiu-jitsu every day.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, not the socks.
You wear Crocs, don't you?
I like Crocs.
Yeah. I've never worn any. They're comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, they're comparable to slides. They just have like a little bit more support, and you can put the strap down so like you can.
So you're in sport mode.
Yeah, sport mode. Yeah, so you can kind of move around a little bit.
Yeah. Is that real or? That there's a sport mode, like if you put it down, you can actually do more stuff.
Well, because it blocks your heel in, so your foot's not going to come out. So you can like move around a bit. I wouldn't say go do like strenuous activities in Crocs, but one's just a slide where the strap is up, and if you put the strap down, it's like a you have those Hey Dudes. It's like pretty similar.
I love those. Those are the best shoes. They're like almost dress shoes. Like I wear them to work.
Yeah.
Business casual, but they're also just like lazy house shoes.
Right.
They're for any time. They're cool.
They're great shoes.
Yeah.
A lot of kids on my baseball team like to wear them.
So I'm a child.
No, you're just in style because they have the newest trends.
I'm hip to it.
Yeah. As they would say, they would either say two things about something that's good. One, they would say, "Coach, that's hot."
Okay.
If we made a good play, that's hot.
Yeah.
Or it was bussin'.
Oh God.
But you were on TikTok today,
I thought that was only about food. If it's bussin'.
The kids said that it works best with food. Like if you had a fire meal and you're like, "Damn, that was bussin'." But you could
say
also
it's fire too.
Yeah, but you could also say it for like something that you think is cool, I guess.
I feel like we used to say that's hot back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a new thing.
That's not a new thing, but
it slaps. That's new.
They like that. Yeah, it slaps.
I don't know what that means, but
yeah.
That slaps. What?
I don't know.
Kids are weird.
They're amazing.
That used to be us.
Yes. Yeah.
Calling people scrub.
Oh my God, that was such athlete locker room
I feel like
lingo.
that started to come back.
Everything's coming back.
Yeah.
There's not that many words to describe things.
They just make up like definitions for words. Like okay could mean something completely different from what okay used to mean. Like how bad used to be good, but bad is also bad.
Oh yeah, like that's bad.
Now any word can be anything. Like lit. No, it's I lit a fire. No, it's lit. Like it's live. It's it's hot. It's fire. It's all this stuff. No, dude, stop making stuff up. Making up phrases.
Oh,
I'm a boomer.
You gonna be all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Speaking of your pajamas, is this guy? What's his name?
Deadpool.
I
Ryan Reynolds.
was about to say Daredevil. Sorry, I got the two mixed up. My bad. So it's not Daredevil. But Daredevil is a great show.
I haven't seen it.
It's good.
I've heard.
You should watch
I
it.
popped when he showed up in Spider-Man because obviously I know who he is. But
Yeah. I'm very excited to see if they use him as a character because I really like the show that they put on.
He's supposed to be in Echo.
Yeah.
Which is coming up, and they're also doing a 4th season of Daredevil.
Are they?
Yeah. You got all this Miss Marvel stuff.
Well,
keep up.
The Miss Marvel stuff is me.
Yeah.
Because that was my sister's favorite hero.
I figured.
And she would cosplay as Miss Marvel all the time. She went to a bunch of Comic Cons and stuff, and she owned a comic book store, an online comic book store called Mashup Comics, off of my last name, Mashbits. So that was sick. So she was the comic book fan. She cosplayed all the time, and so all of this stuff is hers, and so it's a beautiful reminder of her.
Yeah.
And so, but all the other stuff, the Marvel stuff, the Thor, the Guardians of the Galaxy, you can't see it on camera, but the Thanos glove, that's all Joel stuff. He's a huge Marvel fan.
Oh.
Huge.
Me too.
Yeah, so you'll appreciate this. So my girlfriend, she'd never seen any of the Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. So we started from, we went in release order via the Disney Plus app, and we just...
Was first Iron Man? Or was it...
I thought it was Captain America. No, it was Iron Man. I forgot.
Yeah, because release order would be Iron Man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So
unless you include the Spider-Mans now.
Which one? No, we didn't watch those yet.
Technically,
we haven't watched the Tobey Maguire ones or the Andrew Garfield ones.
That's my favorite.
My three favorite superhero movies are the Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises.
I agree on the second two.
So that's my three favorite movies. My favorite movie of all time is The Dark Knight Rises because I love Bane. So we watched those first because those are my favorite. Those have nothing to do with Marvel, obviously. That's DC. But then we watched the whole Marvel series, and we watched Endgame like 2 nights ago. And right before we watched Endgame, we were at her place. Right before we watched Endgame, I had her call Joel. And Joel gave her like a 10-minute recap so she could be prepared for the movie.
So you didn't watch Infinity War?
We watched all of them.
Oh, okay.
But we'd taken a break after Infinity War.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We took like 2 months off.
Okay.
Because we just didn't have time. And then we watched Captain Marvel, amazing. And then we watched Endgame, and she kind of forgot what was happening leading up to that, what she needed to remember. So Joel, the expert in Marvel, gave her the recap. And now we can start with the new Spider-Man movie, because there's 2 of them that we haven't watched yet. No Way Home, Far From Home. Yeah. All those. And then we have to watch the Tobey Maguire ones, the Andrew Garfield ones before she watches the other one. There's a lot. Yeah. We got a lot of movies. She doesn't want to watch the TV shows. They're not that important. I watch them all. They're good.
Have you watched Miss Marvel?
The one. Yeah, I watched I've watched the first 3 episodes.
I haven't seen the finale yet.
I'm not all caught up yet, but it's a lovely show.
Yeah, it's I don't know what like coming of age.
It's so
I like those. Those
it's
are
like a feel good. It's nice.
Yeah.
Her acting is so genuine and authentic and real, and it's like and I like the cultural aspect to it a lot.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Really good show.
It's like something different from what they've done. You know? Right. It's cool. Yeah.
Anyways, circling back. Since I misspoke about Deadpool that's on your pajamas.
Dare you.
Is he your favorite hero?
I guess.
You have another one that's in mind?
I mean, Spider-Man's got to be up there because
he's fucking Spider-Man. It's awesome.
Yeah, but I'd say like those are some of my favorite superhero movies is like Spider-Man. I could rewatch all of them all the time.
Ryan Reynolds is excellent.
That's part of the reason because I wasn't familiar with Deadpool until the fan casting stuff with him started happening, and he started doing videos and all that stuff, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Breaks the fourth wall, and Ryan Reynolds is just Ryan Reynolds. Yep. Which he's amazing. So I don't know. He's cool.
He's so cool. I kind of like the Green Lantern movie that he did. Like,
I love that post-credit scene. And
I'm a big Green Lantern fan. That's one of my favorite heroes.
Have you seen that? Have you seen Deadpool?
I've seen Deadpool, yeah.
And so you saw the second one where he goes back and Green Lantern? Yeah.
That's such a great superhero idea. You have this ring, and it's all based on your imagination. Mm-hmm. That's so cool.
It's interesting.
And the ring chooses you because of like who you are, what you stand for, your virtues, and then you have this imagination.
So it's Thor's hammer decides if you're worthy or not.
Decides if you're worthy. That was such a great scene in Endgame when Captain America becomes worthy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because you knew in Age of Ultron because he tries to pick it up.
It's so close.
Moves a little bit.
And Thor's like sweating.
I think that's the reason he didn't pick it up. He didn't want to embarrass Thor.
And then he becomes worthy.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I think he was always worthy.
He's always worthy. Yeah. Captain America's.
Cap. Yeah. I like Winter Soldier better.
Winter Soldier's cool.
He's amazing. Sebastian Stan.
Also excellent.
Top tier.
Yeah.
Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool. So you see yourself a lot in that character?
being a goofy idiot that says things that's also tough. Yeah, sure.
I think that's exactly who you're trying to portray.
Trying to portray. I'm just being myself.
Or portraying, excuse me.
I mean, I wish I was more witty and charismatic like Ryan Reynolds, but what can you do?
I think you're witty and charismatic.
Thanks. I just say stuff and hopefully it catches.
I mean, it's catching on this pod.
We'll see. I'm sweating. It's so hot in here.
Yeah, I turn the AC up during the day.
I noticed. Smart though. You know.
And then 69 at night when I sleep.
Nice.
Oh my god. Oh, too much time on TikTok.
What a child.
Beautiful, man. I have a couple more questions.
Yeah. I got time. I got nothing to do.
And then I'll let you go.
Okay. Forever.
No. You live close by now.
That's true.
You can come and go as you please.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about your basketball career.
Okay.
Because I don't think that's something that you talk about a lot.
It comes up in passing sometimes.
Because I walked into the house and you were sitting on the couch watching the NBA Finals on your phone. And I was like, dude, you know you can watch it on the TV.
I didn't want to be a burden.
You're not a burden at all. Anyways. I was like, we threw it on the TV.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about your basketball career, which I didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
Which I'm super excited to know about.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Basketball, your first love?
Yeah, 100%. Easily. Outside of Shakira.
Don't worry, that's the final question.
So I have baby pictures of, I feel like a lot of people do this, but I have baby pictures of me holding a basketball.
I have one with the baseball bat. It's
See?
beautiful.
I think my grandpa probably gave me my first ever basketball, maybe, like actual basketball. Me and him watched basketball like all the time. Every time I would be over there. He was like a huge Spurs fan, which I was never a Spurs fan, but I was like, oh, this is cool. We're hanging out, and
Your grandpa was special
basketball. To you? Yeah, he's been gone since 2011 or 10. I can't remember. It's been a while. So I was very young. It was like 10 or 9 or 11, somewhere in that area. But yeah, I remember like hanging out with him, and yeah, he was the best dude. Like, so I think that's probably why I gravitated to basketball early on, and I started playing, and I remember like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade doing Boys and Girls Club, like everybody does. I played baseball, played flag football at the time. And baseball was actually my best sport. I should have stuck with it.
Come on now.
Yeah, and then once I got to middle school, I just went to basketball and football because I told you the coach that I had in Little League put me in the outfield even though I was an all-star catcher and was hitting home runs, and it just got boring.
Should have had me as a coach.
That would have been great, even though you would have been 1 year younger. So yeah, once I got to middle school, I was just focused on basketball and football. And circling back to, I think everything has a starting point, and certain things happen. I think in middle school, when I chose to go with the receivers instead of the quarterbacks, set me on my journey for where I'm at now.
Yeah?
Because I think if I would have went with the quarterbacks and receivers personality-wise are so different.
Right.
And, being a quarterback, you have to be like this large voice, and you have to be the face, and you have to put in all this work and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like if I would have went that path, I would have, I don't know, turned out different. I would have hung out with different people. I would have had a different work ethic and stuff like that. But instead I cowered and went this way. I was like, I don't want to go that way, So I went this way, and it was just like, oh, run a route, catch a ball, easy, And yeah, I don't know. I feel like the first big life decision I made, as stupid as it sounds.
Was that a conscious decision you were making back then? Or
Yeah,
you just kind of
it was like in the moment. I was like, I was a huge Peyton Manning fan. He was my favorite player, football player of all
Amazing.
time. I was like, I want to be like Peyton Manning, you know? And so like once we got to the positions we were picking or whatever, I saw a couple of the dudes that went with quarterbacks, and I was thinking, I was like, I want to go that way. I want to, you know, do this. And then for whatever reason, something inside of me, I was like, I can't. Like, I can't bring myself to go over there. Like, I can't break out of my shell or whatever. So I just ended up defaulting this way. So it was just like a weird, I don't know, weird decision.
Was it a fear of failure or fear of success?
I don't know. Just like a fear in general, maybe?
Do you have some similar fears like that now? Like going after wrestling?
No, because I don't care. Like, I don't have any expectations anymore. I think early on I was like, I have to get signed. I want to get signed. I want to go to the WWE. And then you get in the business and you start learning things and you start finding out things and you're just like, you know? And then once you have that taken away from you due to injury or outside circumstances, same thing with basketball. I had it taken away. Like, you begin to appreciate it differently and more. And so now it's just more of like, I'm just having fun and enjoying it. I don't have any expectations. Like, I would love to get signed. I would love to make, you know, lots of money and see the world and do what I love for a living. But like you said, I'm just present in the moment. Like, I would rather just, you know, enjoy it. Yeah.
So back in high school, you decided to be a receiver?
Middle school.
And then in high school, you played football and basketball?
No. Once I got to high school, I was just like, I'm just going to stick with basketball. Yeah, because we're talking about the basketball career.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to go pro in this, so I need to only focus on this. So that was my mindset.
Okay.
I was like, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. And I'm still very aware of this. I never had the work ethic. I still don't have the work ethic. I am not necessarily lazy. I just don't have that level of drive for like what it takes to get to that point. So thinking that way was a little delusional, because there was zero chance it was going to happen. It's incredibly impossible to go professional
right.
in sports. And I was not doing the work. I was doing work, but I wasn't doing the work.
Work, yeah.
So once I got to high school, that was my mindset. It was like, I want to go pro. And then I did some track here and there, which I should have done that early because I was very good at track. And then junior year, I tried to play baseball again, and the fielding was there, but the hitting wasn't.
It's so hard, man.
I dipped my shoulder all the time. I couldn't even hit off the machine. It was bad. So I was like, this sucks. So I gave up.
I'll take you to the cages.
Oh, I'd love to.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
And football, like within the first 2 games on JV, I was like already leading receiver. You know, 6'2" at the time. Yeah. Receiver, like you could go D1 that way.
Right.
If I would have just put in work and stuck with football, who knows? But I was like, no, basketball. And so I was very average in high school. I was overconfident in my abilities. Like, I was like the second best player on the team, but I wasn't out there like dropping 20 or 30 points a game. Well, not even close. Like, I was better in like open gyms than I was in games. So once I graduated, I didn't have any offers or anything, because I played at a 3A school in the middle of nowhere, and you know, nobody saw. So I went to like some camps before the school year ended, and I don't know if he was legit or not, but I hired a recruiter to put my stuff out there. And finally I got in touch with Texas Wesleyan, which is over in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And went there and played on JV there for the first year and did decent. We had like a super large team that just rotated. But the varsity guys seemed to love me. The varsity coach seemed to love me. And he was like, if you come back next year, keep doing what you're doing. You'll be with us. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Go home for the summer. I'm balling out in open gym all summer long. Go full speed this way. Stop here and just bah. I thought the dude that was guarding me like kneed me, so I blamed it on him for the longest time. But I was like, nah, it was change of direction. He wasn't even like that close up on me. Yeah. So, yeah, I couldn't get surgery or whatever for like a year and a half because I was poor. So I just kept playing on it and it would just buckle all the time. And I was just like, that sucks. So I would wear like 3 knee braces. And yeah, I just kept playing on it. And I tried to go to this junior college in the Panhandle, but I didn't get cleared until like halfway through the season. Then I was going to go to Shriner in Kerrville and try to play there. And I even told them like I'll easily play on JV like and work my way up. And they're like, okay, cool. And then that place was expensive, so I had to stop going there. And then I kind of just like gave up for a little bit. And then my uncle, I don't know how he met some dude that was starting a ABA franchise, semi-professional in New Braunfels.
Yeah.
And he was like, I got you a tryout. I was like, okay, I haven't really played, competitively in a while, but sure, why not? And I went and I played better than I ever had in my life. Made somebody fall and hit it,
Oh.
Didn't really have handles like that, but somehow I made them fall. Yeah, so I played for almost the full season, rode the bench, but,
Was out there?
Hey, yeah, I was on a semi-professional basketball team. It was cool. And then me and my ex were about to have our kid, and I was like, I'm not going to miss this, so I'm done. And that was 6 years ago, right before I started wrestling.
Right before you started wrestling.
Yeah. And ever since then, like, I played here and there.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Any regrets when it comes to your athletic career?
Should have tried harder. That's the moral of my life, actually, is should have tried harder.
Are you taking that into consideration right now in your life?
Sure. I mean, that's the moral of why my love life is non-existent is because I didn't try as hard as I should have. Like, there was nothing, like, bad or whatever. Our situation just kind of sucked, and I just didn't try as hard as I should have. Just put forth effort, But, yeah. Try hard, folks, in everything you do.
Yeah, effort is very sexy.
It is. Yeah.
It's a very attractive trait.
Sure. I guess.
I think it is.
So is a Colombian accent.
Speaking of. No, cool. That's cool.
That was my basketball in a 15-minute nutshell.
It's good.
Sure. Storyteller. We tell stories.
So we'll have to go to the batting cages and hoop a little bit.
I'm down.
I can play a little bit.
Oh, I suck now, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, I'll just shoot up some threes. I'm not going to in the paint. I don't want to get elbowed in the jaw.
No. I've had like a dislocated jaw for years because I drove in the paint. Somebody lowered their shoulder and knocked my jaw out of place ever since then.
Oof.
Pops, yeah. Should get that fixed someday.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Okay. We're coming to the end of this show.
Okay.
There's a final question I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
I know I said I have 2 more, but there's one final question.
Okay.
But
I'm ready.
the most important
Yeah.
question.
The question.
Tell me about why you love Shakira.
She's perfect. Have you seen her? Oh my God. The hair. She looks the same as she did 30 years ago. No, 20 years ago. Like, She's the most beautiful person on the planet, and she's a genuinely good human being, and she's currently single, and oh my God, dude. Could you imagine just like getting to meet her? I would instantly propose.
Would you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to clip this part of the pod, and I'm going to post it on social media.
Everywhere. I hope she sees it.
I'm going to send it to you so you can post it daily.
Okay. I post about her daily anyway.
Do you?
So, not daily, but I mean... It's a bit. It's not real. I mean, I do love her, but like...
You do think she's excellent?
Oh, yeah. She's top of the list for me.
But it is part of a bit.
Well, the talking about her on social media all the time is a bit.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not actually obsessed with her.
Yeah, you just think she's awesome.
She's amazing.
And very beautiful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. That's the Shakira story.
Shakira.
Oh, man. That accent.
Oof.
Oh, man.
As the kids would say. Cheese!
Was it?
Yeah. Something. But
hate it so much.
To put a nice little bow on this beautiful episode that we've had. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Been wanting to for a while.
I love getting to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Thanks.
I mean that. Okay. Sincerely.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't take compliments well.
I know. We talked about it a little bit when I was trying to give you some compliments about wrestling, and you acted the same way.
Oh, I hate when people, like, fans compliment me. I hate it.
You don't know what to do with it.
It's so awkward.
Accept it.
Okay.
Celebrate yourself.
Sure.
You did good work.
Thanks. It means a lot.
Okay. So I stole this question from one of my favorite podcasters. His name is Tim Ferriss.
Okay.
He's like the original podcaster.
Okay.
He like started the podcast trend.
Sure.
Now everyone has a podcast.
Everybody.
Yeah. I have two.
I have a podcast.
Do you?
No.
Oh, you should. That'd be cool. But he asked this, I think this is a really beautiful question. And he says, if you could put a billboard up anywhere in the world where millions of people would see it on a regular basis, what would you put on that billboard?
Oh, man. You want me to get all, like, philosophical and meaningful?
Mine's easy. Everyone knows what it would be.
You are loved, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Shakira. Just kidding.
She would appreciate it.
Maximum effort. Because it's his saying, but you also have to give maximum effort in life.
Right.
Yeah. It's cheesy.
I love cheesy. Cheesy's my favorite.
Chimichangas are cheesy.
Is that you going with that? You going with maximum effort?
No. I don't know. Let's go with it gets better. That's it. Just leave it there.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Because it does.
It does.
And it can. And it will.
Yeah.
Get better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just keep going. It's another one.
Both of those.
Yeah.
I'd love to see both of those on a billboard.
One on one side, one on the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With You Are Loved 10 miles down the road.
No, just make it a tri-board. Tri-billboard.
It gets better. Just keep going. You are loved.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Seal it with the handshake. And maximum eye contact. That's the gym face. Mercer face. Office.
But anyways, yeah, that wraps up this episode. So thank you again for coming on. This is episode 106 of Jaxon Talks Everybody. The best way to support the pod is through Patreon or giving us a subscribe on YouTube, following along on Apple and Spotify, and giving us a review and sharing with a friend. But thanks for coming back every single week. I really appreciate it. I hope this finds you doing extremely well. And please take good care of yourselves and others. Lots of love.